What if I told you that one of the greatest actors and comedians in the world once sat alone, broke, unknown, and invisible to the world? Yet inside his mind, he was already a superstar living a life of abundance, success, and recognition. What if I told you that before the fame, before the Hollywood lights, before the millions of dollars and global admiration, Jim Carrey had already lived that reality in his imagination so vividly that the physical world had no choice but to catch up with what he believed? This is not just a story of success. This is a story of manifestation at its rawest level, a living demonstration of the law of attraction in action. And if you truly understand what he did, you will begin to realize that the same power exists within you. Jim Carrey did not come from privilege. He did not have an easy beginning. His family struggled financially. They even lived in a van at one point. Imagine that for a second, a future Hollywood icon sleeping in a van, surrounded by uncertainty, surrounded by limitation, surrounded by a reality that most people would accept as permanent. But here's where everything changes. Jim Carrey refused to accept his current reality as final. He refused to let his circumstances define his identity. Instead, he made a decision, a powerful internal decision that he was destined for something greater. And once that decision was made, everything else began to shift. He began to use one of the most powerful tools ever given to human beings, imagination. He would sit alone and visualize his future, not vaguely, not casually, but with intense emotional clarity. He would see himself acting in films. He would hear audiences laughing. He would feel the energy of success flowing through him. He would imagine directors calling him, offering him roles, praising his talent. He would imagine himself being paid enormous amounts of money. But here is the key: he did not imagine it as something that might happen someday. He imagined it as something that was already his. He stepped into the identity of a successful actor long before the world recognized him as one. He embodied that version of himself internally, in his thoughts, in his emotions, in the way he carried himself. This is the essence of the law of attraction: to live in the end, to feel it as already done, to become the person who already has what you desire. Most people wait for proof before they believe. Jim Carrey believed first, and then the proof followed. One of the most famous stories that captures this mindset is when Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. Think about that. A man with no money writing himself a check for $10 million, dating it for Thanksgiving 1995. He carried that check in his wallet. He looked at it. He felt it. He believed in it. Day after day, year after year, even when nothing in his external reality seemed to support that vision, he held on to it. He treated it as real long before it became real. Years later, that exact amount manifested into his life when he was paid $10 million for his role in Dumb and Dumber. The number he had written became the number he received. Now ask yourself, was that coincidence? Or was that the result of sustained belief, focused intention, and emotional alignment? Because when you study this deeply, you begin to see that it was not just luck. It was a process. A process of thinking, feeling, and acting in alignment with the desired reality until that reality became inevitable. But to truly understand Jim Carrey's journey, you have to go deeper than just the surface story. Manifestation is not just about visualizing positive outcomes. It is about aligning your entire being with the life you want to experience. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your identity, and your actions all have to move in the same direction. And Jim Carrey did exactly that. He didn't just sit and dream. He worked relentlessly. He performed stand-up comedy in small clubs. He faced rejection. He experienced failure. There were nights when the audience didn't laugh. There were moments when things didn't go his way. But through all of it, he held on to the vision. He held on to the feeling. He held on to the certainty that his success was not a matter of if, but when. There were moments of doubt, moments of struggle, moments where reality seemed to contradict everything he believed. But he did not let those moments define him. He understood something that most people never realize, that reality is not shaped by occasional thoughts or temporary emotions. It is shaped by your dominant state of being. And his dominant state was belief. His dominant state was certainty. His dominant state was alignment with success. Now think about your own life. Every day you are thinking. Every day you are feeling. Every day you are reinforcing certain beliefs about yourself and your future. The question is, are those thoughts and beliefs aligned with the life you want? Or are they aligned with the life you fear? Because whether you realize it or not, you are always manifesting. The only difference is whether you are doing it consciously or unconsciously. Jim Carrey chose to do it consciously. He chose to direct his thoughts. He chose to control his focus. He chose to feel success before success arrived. And in doing so, he began to reprogram his mind. He began to shift his identity. He became the version of himself who naturally attracted opportunities, recognition, and abundance. But there is another layer to this story, a deeper, more internal layer. Because the real battle in manifestation is not external, it is internal. It is the battle between belief and doubt, between vision and fear, between possibility and limitation. These are the true fights that determine your reality. Jim Carrey faced those internal battles just like anyone else. There were moments when his mind could have told him to quit. Moments when his circumstances could have convinced him that his dreams were unrealistic. Moments when giving up would have been the easier choice. But instead of giving in, he chose to persist. He chose to believe. He chose to continue focusing on what he wanted rather than what he feared. This is where manifestation becomes powerful. It is not about eliminating doubt completely. It is about choosing belief despite doubt. It is about holding onto your vision even when there is no external evidence to support it. It is about trusting the process even when the results are not immediate. Jim Carrey has spoken about this mindset in many of his speeches. He once said that the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Behind that statement is a deep understanding of energy and intention. He understood that what you give to the world is what comes back to you. He understood that your thoughts are not passive. They are creative forces shaping your reality every single day. He also shared a powerful lesson from his father's life. His father could have been a great comedian, but chose a safe career instead. And even that safe career didn't guarantee success. From that, Jim learned something profound. You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. That realization changed everything for him. Because when you follow your true desire, you align yourself with a higher level of energy. You align yourself with creativity, passion, and purpose. And that alignment accelerates everything. It amplifies your ability to manifest. It brings opportunities into your life that you could never have predicted. Jim Carrey's life shows that the law of attraction is not about wishful thinking. It is about becoming. Becoming the person who naturally attracts the reality you desire. Becoming the version of yourself who is already successful, already abundant, already fulfilled. And when you become that person internally, the external world begins to reflect it. He reached a point in his life where he achieved everything he once dreamed of. Fame, wealth, success, recognition. And then he realized something even deeper. That fulfillment does not come from external achievements alone. It comes from understanding your true nature. From realizing that you are more than the roles you play, more than the identity you create, more than success or failure. This realization added another dimension to his understanding of manifestation. That true power comes not just from creating reality, but from understanding who is creating it. From becoming aware of your own consciousness. From realizing that you are the source of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your experiences. So what can you learn from Jim Carrey's journey? What is the real takeaway from all of this? It is this: your imagination is not just a tool for entertainment. It is a tool for creation. Your thoughts are not random. They are instructions. Your beliefs are not passive. They are blueprints. And your identity is not fixed. It is something you can consciously shape. When you align all of these, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your identity, and your actions, you become a powerful creator of your reality. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. You stop waiting for change and start becoming the change. Jim Carrey did not wait for permission. He did not wait for circumstances to improve. He changed internally first, and then the world responded. He saw himself differently before the world saw him differently. He believed in his success before it existed physically. And that belief became the foundation upon which his entire life was built. So the question is not whether the law of attraction works. The question is, what are you doing with your mind? What are you consistently thinking? What are you consistently feeling? What are you consistently assuming about your life? Because whether you realize it or not, you are already manifesting every single day. The only difference is whether you are doing it consciously or unconsciously. Jim Carrey chose to do it consciously. He chose to focus his mind. He chose to direct his imagination. He chose to hold on to his vision with unwavering belief. And in doing so, he transformed his life in a way that continues to inspire millions of people around the world. And maybe, just maybe, the same power that transformed his life is already within you, waiting for you to use it. Waiting for you to believe in it. Waiting for you to step into the version of yourself who already has everything you desire. Because the truth is, the life you want is not something you chase. It is something you become. And once you become it internally, the external world has no choice but to reflect it.